Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. This is my 10 a.m. Friday Blitz stream on lichess.org and Twitch. International Master Will Paschall. We're going to be playing 5+3 casual Blitz challenges. Only one time control. Yes, Soltigo, there is a 10 a.m. stream. It's just that my watch is a little bit slow. I hope all is well with you. Alright, Soltigo will be back soon. So, welcome to you, Soltigo. Thanks for making it for the stream today. This stream is set to be 5+3 casual Blitz. So, welcoming all challenges. Basically, the idea of the Friday stream, I've got Neil Swint there, is to do things like this, to give players in Europe a chance to kind of participate in the stream when it's not like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. So here we are. Niels is coming to us from Europe. He's able to play chess now at 4 o'clock in the afternoon rather than 10:30 or something. So we'll give him a chance to play first. All right, guys. I'm good. I had a coffee from the local coffee shop. Feel pretty awake here. I've been playing a few games off and on the last couple of days. Thank you everybody for subscribing, supporting the stream, and welcome to everyone. We're not favoring the subscribers like in most of my challenge streams. I'm actually just going to take the challenges as they come. The only requirement is that it's casual and that you have approximately 100 rated games in your history. I've got another challenge there from Don't Take Me Seriously. Just tell me you have Blitz games. There you go, 400 Blitz games. Bullet games don't count. I'm looking for I am looking for Blitz games. Okay, so here I've played c4. I think d4 is an interesting move. d4, cd4, knight takes d4. It's like a reverse Grunfeld. We could try that for something different. I've never actually played this line, but it's a reverse fianchetto Grunfeld. cd4, knight takes d4, e5, for example, would be very sharp and possible, but it's a sharp line. The knight might be misplaced in f6 in that kind of structure, blocking the bishop on g7. So that's a good arrow I drew there. I am fully awake, guys. That's the good news. Nice coffee today, lots of caffeine in the system. All right, welcome to the stream. So bishop g7. We could take on c5 here, or we can play c4. Both of which are probably very reasonable. I may call c5 like blinking first. Releasing the tension, in other words. I've been very critical of a lot of people, and myself, you know, for this concept. Just got to focus on developing and respecting tension. Not being afraid to keep the tension. Especially when you're white. This is a fairly fast time control compared to my usual streams where I'm allowing time controls up to 7+3. So here we go again. Now, I'm a little concerned that if I play knight c3, he could take on c4 for reals. So what do I do here? For me, this is not really a position I often get because I don't normally use this order of moves. I feel like I have to do something now. But knight c3, pawn takes d4 is a problem of sorts. So I was just talking about this with one of my students, the whole concept of keeping the tension and symmetrical positions being tricky to play. Interesting stuff. Let's try something experimental. Provocative experimental move, just for fun. Try to set some problems for the opponent. This is possibly a mistake, but we'll see. So I'm thinking like d takes c, d takes c5. He goes for this. Exchange of advantages, you might say. But knight g4 releases the tension of the position, in a sense. It's probably justified, even if he has to sacrifice a pawn here. Soltigo says, friend there. Bishop e3 was part, what? Was a part of my own repertoire in some lines. Yeah, I'm thinking this is like the only way to try to kind of be dynamic here, but Black's handling of the position has credibility. I really think that there are some disadvantages in my position that are significant here. Even if he can't take the pawn, I mean, this may be playable, just a straight up queen takes d5. But I'm just thinking there's other moves. Bishop e3 was risky. I'm curious to see after the game if this has ever been played before. So, yeah, I mean, we're looking at knight e5 and pressure on f7. I don't think that's going to be enough. Knight e5 is, again, it's one of those moves it's just not a developing move. The problem is if I play knight c3, he goes to h5, and it seems like once he gets to h5, it's going to be kind of hard to get rid of him. So knight e5, queen e6 is a move. Knight e5, queen e6 looks really problematic. Yeah, I don't think I have anything there. Knight e5, queen e6. It does look strange to put the queen on e6, but what's my follow-up? And he's on the e3 pawn, kind of. Okay. Here again he has queen e6. I mean, this might not be a stupid move, but I expect queen h5. He could also consider queen d8, just going back, or queen d8. Pretty much everything is possible. So the damage to my structure, it seems to, wow, he did play that. It seems to compensate for my development lead. Very, very slight development lead here by white. It's possible I have no advantage at all here, which wouldn't surprise me in the least. Why do I deserve an advantage? I don't know. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do, children? We're going to say, hey man, help yourself. Why don't you take a pawn? So I think queen h5 might have been safer after all. This puts the queen in the greedy zone. Help yourself. Help yourself, man. Have a pawn. There are some technical problems. I mean, who knows? Maybe has a way to sort it out, but I don't think you can take that pawn. Welcome, everyone. This is our only morning stream, USA time. In about 3 weeks, I will be, I'll be moving to the European time stream. So I would say exactly in 3 weeks from now. 1, 2, 3. 3 weeks and 3 weeks. August 31st. We could see a stream from Hungary possibly on August 31st, Friday. I wouldn't be surprised. I have to relocate for a couple months back to Hungary, and then I'll be coming back here and so forth down the line over the next year or so. What's up, guys? Slam Jackson. So the time is ticking away here. I'm on my own. He's on his own. Knight a6. So if he takes the pawn, I had knight d5 there. Now he's probably threatening to take the pawn. He couldn't play the knight to the correct square, like c6, because of d5, obviously. So he's put his knight on an inferior square. And now, do we have any kind of tactics? It doesn't appear so. And my pawn becomes a real problem. Right. Think development. Well played by Black thus far. And I don't know what to do. Knight g5, there doesn't seem to be a follow-up to that. We just lose our pawn. We're toast. Queen d2 has its issues. I shouldn't really be thinking in terms of, let's say, shouldn't be thinking in terms of trying to protect my pawn, but mobilizing the rest of my forces, let's say. Queen b3. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I know this is kind of a weird move. Probably a bad move, but it's a move. You might argue a tricky move. I think Black's got to be okay here. He's got to be at least okay. I'm basing everything on tricks, kind of cheap tricks. Queen takes e3, knight d5 might be okay for black even. You know, queen takes b3, knight takes e7, check, move the king, and then take on b3. Hoping for some stuff on the long diagonal, but I'm not even sure if I have it, to be honest. That might even be bad for me, just simply taking the pawn. Do I have anything else? In the event of queen takes e3, I really have to play knight d5, allow the trade of queens, and he just traded queens, so this isn't as incisive as taking the pawn, obviously. Black should be more or less okay here. He has two very strong bishops. I think they're both excellent. Here he makes a concession. He actually undoubles my pawns for me, which is probably helpful. It's possible to take with a knight even. He has knight b4 and knight c2, so I kind of like the way that black played this structurally. Got the two bishops, knight, excellent square here on b4. Solid stuff. Alright, what's next? Got a center, but it's got to be advanced carefully. But I don't know what else to do. I mean, it's there, let's use it. We gotta go. Gotta go. I like that bishop, man. The bishop is so strong. It's probably giving black a small advantage here. I think I prefer to be in his shoes. Now, do we have any tactics? Pawns should protect pawns. That's what I was told by a certain source. Man, that bishop's just getting stronger and stronger. Okay, I have a strong pawn on d5, but he can undermine it with this move. I think Nils is really he's only in danger of losing on time, not in position. I'm getting overextended. I feel like I'm playing Magnus. I feel like I'm playing Magnus here, honestly. Knight g5 looks kind of weak. Man, I'm in a world of hurt. Black's just better. Knight b5. Extremely strong move. Just getting undermined. Ooh, I'm like lost by force virtually. In some lines here. My center is just totally falling apart. Could he play this any better? Finally a concession of sorts? Or this is just a good move? Yeah. It's like playing Magnus. I mean, he's like 1600 in bullet. Damn, dude. One passive move is all it takes to kind of mess up. You have bishop f5 there. You're in very, very good shape after that move. So, he's gone a little passive there for just a moment. I mean, is that enough to screw up his position? Still, I like black. Even with this ominous center, he's still better. My God. This is scary. I'm gonna have to do something dramatic. We're gonna need some drama here. Damn, dude. If you played a4 there and got your rook behind, I might be immediately toast. He is coming for me. Threatening bishop e4. Maybe I had d6 there. Actually, this move is a little dubious. I'm just lost. Damn, dude. Just thrashed me. I think I was winning, but I blew it at one point. That's an insanely strong game by Black. Really masterful. There it goes. So that's it. Damn, dude. I mean, that was an impressive game. This opening, you played like a master in this game, man. I mean, this was insane. So, nobody's ever played Bishop E3. Yeah, I guess it's dubious. It's interesting, Knight G4. But I thought the whole game was extremely well played by Black. Consistently. Maybe Queen E6 was a little risky. I mean, so here. I really thought you should just play Queen H5 in this position. This move is kind of risky. I was trying to exploit the queen on E6. But this move is much safer for Black. I think you have no difficulties after that. You know, after Queen E6 it was messed up. At the end I was winning, you know, at one point, but I didn't really deserve to be. Like you were outplaying me well before. So the game was back and forth, but you know, probably if you play A5, A4 in the first place, like you were winning anyway. Like if you just continue here with A4 or Rook A8, I never should have been winning at all. Like I could say, oh man, you know, I should have been winning. I'm such an idiot. I lost to a 1600. But actually, I never should have been winning in the first place. If we want to be objective about this game, I mean, Niels actually deserved to win because I was busted in the first place. Okay, so don't take me seriously. I was planning on an exchange sack. Yeah, you found a way to get a lost position for a brief moment there, but very briefly before I lost on time. You should be higher rated, man. I mean, I don't know how you're 1600 on lichess. If you can play that well every single game, I mean, you just pretend you're playing me, and you'll be like 2000 at least. I don't know. Maybe you need to take the game. Speaking of take me seriously, maybe you need to take all your games as seriously as you played that one. So G3, Bishop G2. I'm not going to make any excuses other than the fact that was my first game today. I thought he just played really well, to be honest. I was trying my hardest, you know. So this move is not the first time I've seen this. This is a new account, and the first time we have seen them, but I require 100 games. He's got it. This is a strange move. You don't see it very often, yet there's nothing wrong with it. You know, there's something about B6 that seems strange, yet there's no problem with it. You know, that's the kind of weird thing about this position. No masters play this move yet. It's perfectly okay. Chess is difficult to explain. So we're just playing, you know, as many 5+3 games as we can play, basically. Easy to play here for Black. I think this is a simple system. I'm wondering, you know, maybe this is somebody else. Anyone want to take credit for... Oh, you usually play on chess.com. Okay. Well, you know, not everybody's perfect, man. We all have our faults. Knight e5. D takes c5 here, just releasing the tension. What do you think? Okay, it's going to leave my knight unprotected. He took with the bishop, which is like, okay. Tempo. Because that knight is loose anyway. I can recirculate over here. And bishop d4, knight b5 is weird, but not good for Black. Heading for f4. There's also bishop g5, I wonder. Bishop e7 is a strong move. If I play this, do you promise that you don't have a good move? Promise me you don't have a good move, okay? Because I feel like I'm neglecting my development here at the cost of just trying to get an, you know, isolated pawn going on d5 or something like that. But maybe it's justified. Now you can go bishop e4 at the cost of another tempo. Murderous Spartan. I am a mod. Soltigo's a mod. What's up? What's your question? Are you allowed to curse in here? Well, we have a filter, but I mean, I would prefer that people not do that. And I mean, but this becomes this like philosophical argument of what is a curse, you know? If you say poop, is that like cursing? Or we start to be like kindergarteners. I would, you know, I try to keep like a kind of family atmosphere. I mean, I will say like minor slang, curse words here and there, but yeah, we'll ban people for like extremely bad language, time them out for mildly banned language, and no, I mean, I don't think this is a good move, knight a6. Not necessary to worry about it too much. If you're thoughtful enough to ask that question, it's probably not an issue. So we're winning a pawn here. He just didn't defend the pawn. I mean, I guess he couldn't so easily. It's kind of weird. So knight takes d5. Snapped the pawn. That's good. Don't take me seriously. I am taking you seriously. The last guy who beat me was 1680. Fortunately, it wasn't rated. But Nils, I was impressed by your game that you showed in the subscriber stream yesterday, to be quite honest with you. I mean, you lost the game because of a tactical mistake in a knight endgame. I thought this was very minor, you know, error. A very minor error. So another tactical endgame. People are just getting better because of internet chess. Everybody can start to play much better. The general level of chess is improving. 84. So this guy is 1900. That's credible, though. I mean, 1900 is not a joke. It's all relative, right, guys? Anyway, I like the way that Black played, except for the fact that he lost the pawn. It's all very compact, solid. Now what? Queen b3. That'll stop f5, and we'll just try to double on the d file. Don't abuse it. Yeah. Yeah, just imagine that there's like 10-year-old kids watching the stream and think about what you say. I mean, I don't know, you know. I'm not going to like be insanely crazy about language, but I try to keep a positive atmosphere. So don't take me seriously. Who is this? You know, this has got to be like a multiple account, you know, I would guess. Not necessarily, but people that tune into my stream are usually regulars. So the weird thing was I did face this exact move order against somebody in the stream recently. Okay, queen c6. What are you doing? I think I see what he's doing. We can win a second pawn. What price second pawn? How about rook c1? Is that even a good idea? I guess I should go to the 7th. The problem is here he has some counterplay, and it's also getting annoyingly difficult to free myself from his threats. Okay, queen f6, king g2. Queen f6, king g2, I suppose. Your biggest problem is you lack a bit of experience. You started playing like a little over a year ago. When you say started playing, one assumes that you mean like in tournaments or something, because your level, if you can beat me in a blitz game, is like pushing candidate master. Anyone who just did what you did, if you did that and you've only known how to move the pieces for like a year, you'd probably be like some sort of hyper genius IQ or something. This guy's playing scary. You know, very scary chess, except for the fact that he dropped a pawn in the opening. The rest of his game is like frightening me. This was a blip on the radar screen. I mean, I'm happy to see something leave the board here because he was starting to develop threats. Yet, at the same time, it might almost be a good move. Rook d6. Stay as active as we can. The problem is rook endgames are really hard. I mean, a lot of rook endgames, even if I'm up a pawn, heavy piece endgames for that matter, are draws. Didn't know about castling a year ago. Well, there was this guy I played in Romania in a pub who didn't know how to set up the board right. Like, he set up the board sideways or something with the colors on the wrong location, and he beat me. That was pretty upsetting. I was mildly disturbed by that, to say the least. So anything's possible. Don't take me seriously. That's usually a bad sign, if their name is that. I'm gonna just defend here for a minute. That's a bad idea. He's got rook takes e2. Flirting with tactics all over the place. Alright. Rook takes e2. Wins a pawn. Did you bet money? No, it wasn't about money. It just was a game, like casual game, and I was like, this guy's just a pub player from a little town in Romania. He doesn't even know how to set up the board right. No, it wasn't about money. It wasn't for money. We were just playing a friendly game, and I thought, okay, he didn't even, like, and I didn't even correct him, because I didn't want to, like, you know, people who just learn how to play chess in a foreign country, I'm like, okay, whatever. If he plays with the board sideways with the squares on the wrong colors, then he plays with the board sideways with the squares on the wrong colors. It doesn't make a difference to me, you know. It's just a fun game in the pub. So the guy, you know, ended up beating me. I was like, what is going on around here? He played really well. He just never learned, you know, the correct way to set up the board. I mean, that's pretty disturbing. So things are getting pretty strange in here as well. Okay, on rook f5 there, sorry, where was this rook? Rook f5. I'm a little concerned about rook f5. If we go over this game after the game, I mean, does that move threaten rook takes f2 in some lines? I have to be very careful about where I would go after that. But this move, I mean, I reach a technical ending here where I have good winning chances. He's actually getting mated. No, I didn't even realize. He resigned. He saw it before I did. I would have seen it. You know, rook takes and queen takes f7. I had realized I have at least a pawn up end game, and I'm looking for more. But yeah, rook 5 is the best move. You know, he stays alive technically here, but he's down a pawn, and white has some pressure. So just to show you, you know, it is possible for people who just learn the game to be really good. I think this guy had been playing for 20 years. He just didn't know how to set up the pieces. That's different. I mean, he didn't know how to set up the board right. Alright, whatever. I underestimated him because you assume if someone doesn't know how to set up the board right that they're just a total beginner, you know. No, he wasn't a hustler, though. That's a good hustler trick, no doubt. Here you go. Here you go at 700 games. Alright, I got to check to make sure I'm not getting trolled. People create a new account, then they, like, you know, put a grandmaster in there to play me. I don't care, guys. Support the stream with donations of bits. That was a nice nice finish for me, but I thought the black had chances to draw in that position objectively. 13.95 is a good price. What can we get for 13.95? It sounds like something at Walmart. All right, so what is up, guys? Sunday I'm doing my simul. Every Sunday I have a simul stream here on lichess and Twitch. We're seeing this again, the c6 business. Sometimes they bring the queen out to like a5. I mean, obviously black can play g5 and knight h5 and trap my bishop. That's kind of standard. But he doesn't do that. He plays knight bd7. Okay, this is a different story now. I like c6 and knight bd7 and a6 and b5. That kind of setup for black. I'm not sure of the inclusion of h6 or not. Now this I had this exact position maybe against Dimitrios Agnos, a Greek grandmaster. I can't remember if he played c6 or not, though. It was definitely h6, bishop h4, knight bd7, e5, but I can't remember if c6 was included. Koto, what's up? Good to see you. So I got 6 challenges. I'm going to play anybody, no rated games though. Texel Tour. It's just too hard to play rated games, you know, against mysterious people with commentary. I don't do that. Don't want to do that to my rating, basically. Then people really start trolling me. So no rated, and make sure the challenge is 5+3. There's no tactic here, but we do have some strong ideas. Let's see, take. We open up the D file. This has got to be right. I normally don't like to do this, but with the rook on the file here, I don't like exchanging these pawns in general. It's a bad exchange in the deeper strategic sense, but we do have something concrete, you know, then it's good. Very safe system for white against the King's Indian, but I don't think that it's going to get an advantage against the top grandmaster. It's enough for equality, maybe. This bishop g5. So got Abi here. Just check these guys out. Pichu, good to see you. Baleful. Nisab. Nisab's also from Hungary. Well, I'll be going back to Hungary soon. Yes, they're letting me back in the country. No, I'm just kidding. I'm in good standing as a Hungarian resident. Bishop takes f6. Yeah, that's possible. I hate releasing the tension here, though. Knight d2 is another idea. Knight d2, then you move, then I go there, then you take, then I take. It's a tough call here. I've also got bishop g3. This feels a little bit passive for me. His move b6 doesn't really help his situation too much. You know, putting the bishop here would be nice if that diagonal were open, you know, but it's not. This is the best move he just played. Queen c7, pretty much forced. You're pretty sure I gifted you a sub. Tomato Juice gifted a sub. Wow. That would be nice, Murderous Spartan. Thank you yourself for subscribing. So, we lost our first game in time pressure against Nils, but we were worse the whole time until one brief moment when he kind of upped the screwed. So deserved victory, I would say, for Nils there in the first game. Alright, this is a common plan for me in this type of variation, to entrench a knight on d6. The problem is I don't think I can really maintain it. You hung a mate though. You hung a mate? Oh. So I didn't see that, obviously. And then I hallucinated that I was winning when I wasn't winning, you know. I'm not really quick enough yet this morning. I'm awake, but I hadn't practiced at all since I woke up. I'm really poor in like fast time control situations these days because I don't play enough really sudden death blitz. Back in the day I was monstrously strong, not to be arrogant, but I held my own against like Hikaru Nakamura and other elite blitz players in over the board blitz situations. So I think that I was pretty capable at my peak as a blitz player. Now I'm slow though, and you have to, you know, it's not like riding a bike. I mean, you really, the quote unquote riding a bike reference, you really have to keep playing blitz to stay sharp, and I don't play enough fast games these days because I'm teaching and doing other stuff. I've lost quite a bit of my speed. Maybe not my strength, but my speed. All right, we don't have too much here, like a little advantage. Let's keep it simple. You want me banned for asking if I can curse here? Defenestrated. That is a word, right? So knight c5, where is it going from there? We're probably hitting him with b4. I don't understand you guys, what you guys are talking about there. You gifted someone a sub and they're not appreciative? Is that what's happening here? He dropped a piece. Alright. Wait. Tomato Juice is asking to ban Spartan. I don't understand anything what's going on here because he asked a question. If you're allowed to curse in here. Alright. You guys, no fighting in the stream. I'll time you out. Knight takes e4. We just want a piece. Sorry, man. I would give it up. Let's move on to the next game. We've got Abi, Pichu. 2 players from Hungary. Then Dimitri. Dexeltor, thanks for correcting your challenge. And then USAG. Alright, play it out. Play it out very well. It's within your rights. Actually, you can win a piece here, can't you? Well, no. It didn't quite work. G5, queen takes f5, check. Nope. That's not going to happen today. This is too weak on the white squares. But wait a second. Did he have... Wait a second. Did he have G5? He does have that. So he had G5. Winning a piece. Queen takes f5, rook f6. And he's going to win the pawn back. So it actually would have won the piece back. Although it would have left him with a kind of torn, broken structure. It wasn't resignable. He missed. I gave him the chance there. I gave him the chance there to mount a comeback. What's up, everybody? The chat is really, really quiet today. I think a lot of my regulars aren't here because of the morning time. Hopefully people will start waking up. But I'm really trying to focus on the stream on Fridays being like a thing for the European players. Murderous Spartan, where are you from? Are you Europe, North America, or other? I think like half of my subscribers and viewers are from the Europe. Half of them are from the North America, and no, not half, but like anyway, 45% of each, and then like 10% from elsewhere. Got some Australia, Asia, but not too many from that region. Watch my stream. Due to the time, Here You Go is gonna be in a lot of trouble soon. We've got a really nasty threat now. Yeah, you stream at European times and I start beating you. Well, I mean, it makes a difference, right? You were much fresher today. You're normally like exhausted when you play me, probably. Unless you have a night job. I would imagine. Now, he's putting up resistance here. Like, most people would give up hope. But that's pretty irritating. I hate that when they do that. They keep fighting. Darn it. Oh, man. How do I finish him off? This is getting on my nerves. Alright. Keep the pressure on. My bishop's like almost getting trapped all the time. Actually has... No, he doesn't have queen e8. He's putting up good resistance. Seriously. You put up the maximum resistance after dropping the piece. Except for g5, which you had that one moment. This is finally over. Alright, Abi. So all these challenges look okay. No, I'm 20, a poor student over here. Well, you could have a night job working in the benzene station or something. I don't know. You don't have to be middle-aged to be a night job person. Knight f3. But you seem pretty dangerous to me. I'm gonna start streaming only in the nighttime. Anyway, guys, what's up here? Knight f3, knight c6. I usually play d4 there, but what the heck? We'll mix it up. Bishop c5 now. This is a rare position. I had a game I think I lost with knight takes e5 somehow. But it's fun. We'll do this. Just for fun. We'll play something challenging. So Abi just didn't take back, you know. I mean, you got to take back or play bishop takes f2 check. One or the other. You take your choice. pays your money and you takes your choice. That's what Grandmaster Arthur Bisgeyer told my friend. It's like a Carney phrase or something. My friend was like, what is he talking about? Bisgeyer was like this. He was like the Grandmaster who analyzed games at the U.S. Junior Open. And when my friend asked him to analyze the game, he like made this comment. My friend was like, what are you talking about, dude? That's a weird phrase. Some sort of like 40s terminology. Okay, so we're up a pawn here, but I'm having a little trouble grasping how to handle this exactly. Let's play g3, try to get active with bishop g2. Alright. I've played many Grandmasters in my history, and Arthur Bisgeyer was just one of the many. I think I've had an interesting life in chess, that I've gotten to play many people from many different generations. It's pretty cool. Like, I've got a lot of the modern top players that I've faced, like Caruana, Nakamura, Magnus Carlsen, Richard Rapport, and others. And at the same time, I've also played kind of old, some older Grandmasters from totally different generations. So it's just pretty cool. We've got a massive center here. Just ridiculous. So I never beat Caruana, Hikaru, or Magnus, but I do have some draws against Hikaru and Caruana, and I had Hikaru crushed in a blitz game where he started knocking over all the pieces. It's one of my funny stories. I couldn't mate him with queen and king fast enough because he just kept like knocking everything over in a desperate attempt not to lose. But whatever. Gamesmanship is part of the game, right? Black is playing fast. You see, this what Abi is doing here is bad. What you don't want to do is play where the time is more important than the board. Okay? This is a sign that this player is playing too much bullet chess, and you need to slow down and you need to start thinking about your moves, because you've reached the point where you have a lost position and you've only used 4 seconds off your original time. That doesn't make sense. There's just no reason to do that. This is not a bullet game. You want to take your time and try to play the position first. Position first, time second. That's the way it should work, not the other way around. And you'll get stronger and your results will get much better if you learn to pace yourself and take your time. Here, his biggest crime is not like making bad moves. It's really just like not taking the time to think. So I'm going to play Queen E2 here. I never played Viktor Korchnoi, unfortunately. We did play in the same tournaments, at least once or twice. I could have been paired with him, but unfortunately my friend did, and he beat him because Viktor hung a queen to a rook skewer in a winning position. It was really bad. The dude freaked out. Like, he started cursing my friend and racially abusing him. It was pretty bad, dude. But he wasn't really a nice person. Korchnoi, although I respect him massively as a player, he was a pretty nasty human being from what I've heard. Of course, I never had any direct interactions with him myself. So Abi is lost, but I think the guilty factor here is the time management. Yeah, I'm serious, dude. He was hysterical. He was up a queen for a rook, and my friend wouldn't resign, which is probably like bad form, but he felt that it was like, a couple pawns and a rook for a queen. He didn't want to give up. He kept playing and playing and playing, and Korchnoi was getting pissed, and he was slamming the pieces, and he wanted to go eat dinner or something, and he actually allowed an insane beginner mistake where he allowed the dude to skewer his queen to his king with a rook, and he lost the game, and he just freaked totally, and he started cursing and calling my friend an Indian. He's a Mexican guy, and he started insulting him It was in the local newspaper even. Nowadays, Korchnoi would probably like get like, you know, like challenged in court or something for racial abuse. But in those days, you know, it was kind of like people just like, you know, shrugged it off as an old man, like just freaking out. This was in like the late 90s, maybe around 99. I'm thinking 1999, probably. Yeah. It was really bad. I mean, you know, you can behave like a child and be angry because you hung your queen or whatever, but you don't start like racially abusing people. I mean, that's insane. Like this, you know, something like a rook hitting the queen there. He behaved like a child, dude. He was totally out of control. Yeah. But he was already pretty old at that point. I mean, he was probably like 75. And he was basically at the end of his chess career. So, getting old and grumpy. It's possible he was 68. I'm not sure what his exact age was in 1999. Close enough. So, he was still playing at the time. But I know a lot of people that I've heard a lot of bad things about Korchnoi as a person, not a lot of good things here. So rook g4 check. So let's get on to the next thing. Mate is in the offing. Pichu, Baleful, Nisab, Dmitry, Texeltor, Usag, Tamali. Alright, Pichu's tough. I didn't hear it, no. I was away on the other side of the room, like in the middle of a game when it was taking place. Like I was probably busy. Alright. Or maybe I'd left. Maybe I'd actually left. I don't remember. Maybe I'd left the tournament hall before it happened. I can't remember. I wasn't there. I just know the story from secondhand and from the newspaper. So e4 c5. Lord Anas says, today I will play my first longer time control tournament after a long time. Okay, so you have before, but just the first time in a long time. Recommendations. Look at my last game. Take your time. Pace yourself. If you're playing online a lot, you're probably not playing longer games. So it's really vital that you don't play too fast. I think pacing yourself is important. What else? The opposite can be true though. You may get in time pressure. I don't know you too well, so I grew up playing chess in a slightly, like, on average, slightly longer time controls. My average tournament game in my career was like 40 moves in 2 hours. So that was the standard time control that I'm used to playing the most. When FIDE started to adopt this 90 minutes for 40 moves type of time control, or 90 minutes, yeah, for 40 moves mostly, this is where I kind of came back to chess after I had taken a break for 7 or 8 years without playing very much, and I feel like personally I'm getting into time pressure in these time controls with last 30 minutes, whereas I never used to really have a problem with the clock. Traditionally in my chess career, I wasn't a time pressure player. It wasn't always an issue. It wasn't usually an issue for me. But it has become one. But anyway, to answer Lord Ananas' question, think about the pacing of the time, and take your time, and hopefully you won't get in time pressure. Did you forget openings and lines when you came back? Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't think that my theoretical knowledge... I basically quit playing in like 2008 for the best part of like 7 or 8 years. There was a tournament, an isolated tournament or two. But for the most part, I stopped playing on a regular basis. And of course, I forgot a lot of the sharper lines that I studied for more detailed. In more detail. Pichu here is following some theory. I'm thinking that maybe I had this game with Vital Levente, who's a Romanian-Hungarian grandmaster, who I know very well. I also had the similar position against Alexander Strapunski, remember? So, but the move order is kind of weird. I mean, I don't think that Levente, who's an expert in a c3 Sicilian, would typically play rook c1. He would head more toward queen e2 and looking for kingside type of threats. So this rook c1 is a specific move in this position. Maybe even discouraging me from playing b6. Yeah, afraid of getting out a book early. Well, take your time, you know. I think that people playing too fast in the early stage. I took it to an extreme. 2 years ago, I lost to Grandmaster Kovalenko, Igor Kovalenko, in Zalakarosh, where I was really trying to use my time, and it was ridiculous. Like, he used 20 minutes for the first 40 moves, and I used like 90. So I got in this insane time pressure, and I just basically hung something because I left myself with increments for like 15 moves or something. That was a very big mistake. I went too far trying to take my time, you know, in exaggerated fashion, let's say. Alright, I don't know, guys. I'm going to try bishop e8. This is something I used against Strapunski. This basic setup. I might have even tried this against Vojta once. We had several games and I forgot. My biggest problem with black in the c3 Sicilian, and I've said this to many people and over the years, is that I changed the system that I played too many times. I basically tried like 5 different systems against the c3 Sicilian, and I never really like stuck with one. You know, really religiously stuck with it to the point where I learned it extremely deeply. And I think you know, you don't want to just bounce around like changing systems every week. I mean, then you never really learn one thing. You never really learn one thing really well. So you got to think about that factor. Now, I guess I'm going to d7, but that allows, that's a problem. That allows another problem. So queen b4. Queen b4 is very awkward. I might have to play queen d7. I'm not happy about it, but problem is knight e5. So it looks like we're in a bit of a trouble here. Bit of a trouble. Queen b4, bishop d2. That could be trouble too. Queen takes b2, and my queen is close to getting trapped. There's always queen a4. I'm not too thrilled about that. So queen d7, knight e5, knight takes e5, d takes e5, knight d5, and white has some play. I don't have anything better. This is bad. I messed up. I don't think that I like that queen b4 bishop d2 thing too much either. Queen takes b2. I don't have a better idea here. He has some kingside threats now. Alright, it's not like the end of the world. But he fixed his pawn structure, you know, and I think white is better now. I can play g6. That's kind of one of the main ideas, if necessary, to defend my kingside. But the point is that he's improved his position to a great degree. I mean, he no longer has an isolated pawn on d4. And while my position is kind of solid, I'm passive here. So, Niels says his biggest problem is that I make the last 5 moves before time control and increment. Struggle to take more time after reaching time control. Well, you need to like get up from the board and walk around and just concretely tell yourself, man, you gotta slow down. I had this problem, and I've been playing chess for 30 years, you know, in tournaments over 30 years, and I had the same problem happen to me like in the spring in the Budapest Spring Open. I had this one game where I was playing too fast, and I was like walking around, and I told myself, even consciously, like, you gotta slow down, like you're just like not taking your time. And the next thing I do, I like sit down at the board and blitz the next move. It was a totally insane blunder. And the reason it happened was because I became emotionally upset. Like, he made a move that was very strong, and I was like scared, you know, like scared that I was clearly worse. So instead of like calmly sitting down and saying, okay, let's be calm about this, I was just like looking for this mirage in the desert, you know, like a quick solution to a position. Now, we are allowed to take this bishop on e3. And if I can do that, I feel like I'm okay. But it's got to be worked out. You know, like knight takes e3, queen takes e3. My queen still has some problems. I guess I could play like rook c8. Then I'm going to hang my a7 pawn. But is it that easy? Like rook takes c8, queen takes c8, knight takes a7. It even looks like I have some compensation there. Alright, we're going to go for this. I can also play a6. He's got rook c7, that's not a problem. a6, rook c7, we can calculate that. That's not good for white, I don't think. Knight d6, bishop takes d6, okay. So I don't see the problem here. He has bishop takes g6, but I'm snapping on d1, so. Yeah, this move doesn't work. Maybe it does work. That's a problem if this works. I thought I'm winning, but it's not so clear. Alright, well, I'm not winning, but I might not be losing. I miscalculated this. I mistakenly thought I was better here. We do kind of grab the initiative. Well, he went for it. He didn't have to do that. There's also bishop takes b5. I should take this. See, I missed that he had this move, which is kind of important. Sort of. And now I have several moves. Like, okay, rook c1 seems to be his only move. Well, not his only move, but it seems like the best, right? Basically forced. No, I guess I only have one move, rook d8 then. And then he's got some issues. Or does he? Actually, wow, he just gave that up. That's an extreme thing to do. So, well, we're better now, I guess. All right, we're better, but it's not over. It's still kind of murky. Rook takes check. Bishop takes h4. You know, I have to be careful. He has some nasty threats on the 7th rank, so this isn't so simple. I got to calculate. Bishop takes h4. Queen f4. Rook takes there, and we're in trouble. But let's calculate. I have this. He has queen f4. Oh, man. I don't think that's good enough. I mean, I guess I can always defend passively if I have to. Rook e8. This is going to be another time pressure situation. I mean, I guess technically I'm up material here pretty big. Rook and 2 bishops for a queen. But I do have to be careful of traps and tricks. I definitely didn't expect that move. What is queen d4 about? He's just defending h4. But that gives me time to play bishop c6. I mean, okay. Not my only move. I also have rook d8. Which is better? Rook d8. Then what do I do, though? Do I repeat moves or something? Yeah. I feel like I should definitely be winning, but I'm not a computer. So, 3-second increment doesn't give us a lot of extra time. Bishop d8 traps the exchange. No. No, it doesn't. To be careful. I don't really have any threats. That's the thing here. And his rook's on the 7th, kind of messing with me. Queen a4. I lost on time. Alright. Whatever. There you go. That's what to do. You want to lose on time in those tournament games. Am I winning here? Yeah, I'm winning. But I misjudged the time there. I thought I had more time. Alright, good game. Time is money. Alright, we lost on time. Having a little trouble here today. Good game. Alright, baleful. Well, I gotta move, you know. I gotta move. I normally don't flag with 3-second increment, but I just kind of spaced. I shouldn't let myself get down to just increments there. Basically, my position was good enough that I didn't need to let that happen. It was a little bit too much. But I should be able to make the move. I don't know. I just sort of froze. Maybe I've got some lag. Got 100 ping, though. That looks pretty good. Can't really pin it on the lag. Normally I could. But this case doesn't look like it's lag to blame. I just spaced. So, London system. He could play e4 here, but that's fine, you know. It's a Peertz, almost like a weird Peertz, where he's played e4 in 2 moves. Maybe I'll play d6. I don't like this move unless he has a good reason for playing it. You know, you don't want to play this move unless you have a really, really good reason for doing that. You just gave up your center for no particular reason. Not a good strategy. You know, this is a strong pawn on d4. Like, while you're not lost or anything as a result of making that exchange, it's just a small concession, and black's position gets a little bit better and a little bit better. You completely missed bishop b5, Pichu, but I mean, the real question was, like, what happens after rook c1? You know, you didn't even make an effort to play that move. You just gave me the bishop on f1. I mean, I was kind of surprised. I was mostly concerned about that. You get in this pin, you play rook c1, and I defend my rook. Then I'm threatening bishop takes f1 anyway. So I kind of got stuck there, and I wasn't sure what was happening. I mean, am I just winning the piece anyway? Is that what's truly happening there? If that's the case, then king h2 was a good move because you had to lose it anyway. I don't know. But it was just a miscalculation. Fortunately, you're fast enough that you can find tricks to stay alive and make me lose on time. Okay, so he's made all good moves except for this d takes c. Like, now he played h3. And I could have chased that bishop last move. Now I'm kind of regretting that I didn't. But at the same time, what is this bishop really doing, you know? Is it relevant? Not so much. Let's go, like, rook b8. Controversial decision, right? That's what I'm saying, though. That diagonal. How relevant is that? If I can use the b file here, we're going to put pressure on b2. Just one thoughtless move, taking on c5 without good reason. Rook a d1 and then bishop takes f1 is impossible to defend. Yeah. So anyway, you lose the piece. I wasn't sure if there was some weird move you could play to stop that from happening, but I guess not. So now what do I do? I don't know. Let's play bishop a8. If this was like s4, one of our regular opponents, he would probably snap this pawn on d6 and go for complications. He did. Alright, man. Good try. Good try. I agree. So let's see. Do I really want to trade queens here? And by the way, like, b2 is hanging. I think that's kind of important. That's pretty important. Because that breaks up his queen side. This is a different game now. Black's probably better. If I didn't have that move, then the sacrifice on d6 is probably, like, totally fine. Baleful beat me. I forgot. I forgot about this. What was this? I don't remember what happened. Alright. What do we do? Bishop takes? I'm not sure which way to recapture. All of our pieces are very active. My knight needs defending on d7 if I'm ever going to play like knight e4. So I'm going to have to spend another move on playing like queen e7 in the meantime. So it's not so easy. Yeah, this move's kind of irritating. Also, my rook is potentially trapped now. That's very bad news. I may have made a very serious mistake there. Of course, there's bishop takes f3 at some point. Now I have to start calculating. Bishop b5, simply threatening to win a piece. Also trapping my rook. Is it trapping it or not, though? Maybe not. I have a bad feeling about this. Queen c1, rook b3, knight d2. That looks bad. My rook is just trapped. I have to sack the exchange on b5, and here we go again. So queen c1, bishop takes f3 is a thought. Then he just takes on b2. I have some crazy lines, like knight e4 there. Oh my gosh. You can't calculate that much that fast. Bishop takes f3. How much material am I down now? If I play bishop takes f3, then I play queen takes b2, knight e4, pawn takes f3, something like queen g5 check, king h1. I mean, this just feels like I should have a very strong attack here. I'm not sure if it's enough. There's some complications here. Maybe I just go knight e5. But I have no idea what's going on, to be truthful. We're going to play for mate. This is the day of like strange material imbalance, I guess. Percy Hepworth, what's up? So you say that that was me lagging, but I had 100. I had 100 when I looked at my ping there. Knight e4, pawn takes f3, queen check, king h1, queen h4. He's got this insane defenses. So I guess I just have to take this. There's nothing better. Which kind of sucks because it's not very dynamic. But whatever. Maybe I should play d3 now. 3 minor pieces for 2 rooks. It's unclear. I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily better. This guy seems pretty strong for 1700 though. I can't remember the game that I lost. And what's the deal with the final position there? What was the deal with that game? Does anybody understand? That loss was you lagging and losing on time. Oh, you're talking about that game. Okay. I thought you were talking about my loss earlier in the stream. Now I understand the context of what you're saying. Okay, sorry. That was me lagging and losing on time. I thought you were talking about earlier today. It happens so frequently that I can't keep track of what we're talking about. Baleful was the guy that I hung a queen against in the last game, and he didn't take it. Right? Weren't you the one where I dropped my queen? No, that was a different guy from Croatia. From the same country, but a different player. He's finding moves. Keeps finding moves. Just to keep the game alive. That's a really, really irritating move that he just played there. No matter what I do, he keeps staying alive. Family fork. Alright. Can I do this? Please tell me this works. He's going to have something here too. Every time I have a move, he has some kind of answer for it. And everybody's faster than me. No brain, no pain. Basically, time became more important than making good moves in chess. That's the way that we're moving in the chess world. But hopefully this is enough. So, okay, now we do have bishop f8. Bishop f8, rook down. It really should be enough. Is it enough, though, in reality? What's his, like, bullet rating? He doesn't have a bullet rating, right? Pretty fast, dude. How can you not have a bullet rating? Alright, I don't have a bullet rating. That's how. I don't know why I'm so slow. I had a nice big coffee. What was your problem with king h7? I don't know. I think it's half of one and six of the other. Half a dozen of one, six of the other. They're both good. Like, actually, I can take on e3 check here as well. What's wrong with that? I think they're both good, Pichu. That's the answer to that question. But maybe, like, you know, pinning myself is a bit weird. You might be right. I thought he had play in either case. I basically gain a tempo this way. But now he's got this rook drop. Is there some sort of perpetual or something? I hope there's not a perpetual for reals here. That would be embarrassing. Now he's got a mate. I've got a mate. Yeah, the bishop came back to bite him. Still not mate. Wait a second here. Man, I'm really out of it today. I don't know what's wrong with me. Okay, that was not a good vision of the board by me. I mean, I should see that mate pretty quickly. That was weird. So the criticism from Pichu was that I should take on. Yeah, my first inclination was to play that, but then I talked myself out of it. Let's see what's really going on. Yeah, I was disturbed by this move. Knight d2 is correct. Queen e8 check. Yeah, the computer totally agrees. Like king h7 is just winning. I don't know, for some reason I thought he had some threats with like rook b7 or something, you know? I mean, with both rooks open, for some reason I thought this was something, but it's nothing. No, I'm just winning here. Yeah, I don't know. Just a hallucination. No reason, really. Not at my best, you know, in the morning, I guess. I'm not streaming at this time, usually, so it gives you guys a better chance. Alright. Not really sharp. I think I need to play about 10 or 15 games to be quite alert. Okay, d4, knight f6. We're going to play like c5 if I can on move 3 against knight f3. Against knight c3 I play the Nimzo. I also play the King's Indian. Those are my two main branches. But instead he played this kind of rare move, bishop f4. You know, I can't ever remember facing this. Bishop g5 I have seen on a couple of occasions, but bishop f4 is an interesting move. Don't think I ever really took the time to study this. So against c5 it makes some sense. A lot, actually, to play d5 there. I don't think the Blumenfeld is very good here. I can play b6 transposed to a Queen's Indian, or, you know, you could play it like a London system. I don't like d5. Not my repertoire. The Bogo Indian's okay. There may be like bishop b4 check, knight d2, and then c5. There's something to that, perhaps. a3, bishop takes d2. Okay, this is a way of playing. I don't know that it's the best way to play, but it's a way. Let's play it. It's difficult to say that there's a best move, you know. So I'm going to do this. Played like a Bogo Indian. There's some risk involved. He actually, you know, doesn't have any sort of bishop d6. That would be funny. A funny blunder. Okay, now we've got one of those weird Queen's Indians where he could even lose a piece in some lines. Like knight e4, knight f3, g5. Almost works. Knight e4, knight f3, g5. But he has time for bishop e5 there. Actually, he also has time for bishop takes b8. Worst case scenario. So knight e4 is a little crazy. Probably would be best for black to play like more soundly here. Knight e4, knight f3, g5 with the idea of g4, but it's not really, I'm not liking it too much. Let's see, is he threatening a3? That's another question. So if I play like knight c6, he can play a3 and probably have a reasonable game. There's the option to take on d4 and then play d5. I kind of like that. Then we can play it like a Panov, where his pieces are on messed up squares. I don't think this bishop f4 is really optimalish. You can't really say that in Hungarian. It's sort of a fake word. Optimalish. But they use outside words and adopt them into the language. Alright, I'm just mentioning this because Nysab is from Hungary. I am a resident of Hungary, although I'm not there at the moment. And we just played Pichu, who's also Hungarian, so got a contingent here. Now he played this. This move is probably a decent decision. If I take on d2 check, I'm giving up my bishop. It seems like a concession. Bishop takes d2, queen takes d2. Knight e4 doesn't do anything. I can just play for development if I want to, just castle, you know. But I was really thinking maybe seriously we're coming back here. We're running some risk though of white having a space advantage. So this is the moment of truth. Do we take or do we go back? Taking queen takes d2, castles, then like c5 bothers me a little bit. Really key decision. I mean, both ways are playable. Let's err on the side of caution. But white might have a space advantage here. I think that c5 is quite interesting. And I usually would tell my students to react very, very actively if you face this kind of advance. You want to try to fight against it before it has time to set in. Before that really gets cemented, that space advantage on the queen side. So in other words, if I can play b6, I probably want to do that. But I don't think I have time yet. Okay, I'm going to castle, just default to make a decision here. I think he should play c5. And if I try b6, the thing is he can play b4. It's a pretty dynamic position where white is probably slightly better. I don't really like the structure. But I'm totally out of book. I mean, bishop f4 took me out of book like right away. No clue what I was doing after that. So here we are. Knight e4, that kind of move you see sometimes. I need counterplay quickly. Elf needs food badly. Okay, it's a Panov. It's an old school Panov Caro-Kann type of structure, but I never ever really liked playing this kind of position. I just think it's unpleasant and no fun for black. So I regret. I guess I regret that I played this whole system with bishop b4 check and c5. I regret that I played bishop takes, or that I didn't play bishop takes d2 check. Life is one long regret, right? Wasn't that one of our quotes in one of my arena tournaments? Chess is one long regret. How about b6 instead of castles? Yeah, okay. I didn't consider that. That's an interesting idea. You might worry about pawn takes pawn there, but actually it's worthy of consideration. How am I recapturing on b6 c takes d? I think that's the question. Maybe with a knight. Then he has like bishop b5 check, which is slightly awkward, but it's definitely worthy of consideration. I don't like this position at all. Hopefully the Nysab doesn't like it either. He maybe doesn't play this. Murderous Spartan. We in here. I'm going back to Hungary. My opinion on Jordan B. Peterson. I have no idea who that is. Who is Jordan B. Peterson? Am I supposed to know? So, the older I get, the less I know. That's what my mom says. A5. Alright, so we're take. Remember Spartan using the Soltigo theme there. Knight e4. Knight takes e4, d takes e4. Knight e5, a takes b, and like everything hangs out and just everything's protected. That's not good. Take, then knight c6, and then he protects with like, actually what am I thinking here? Man, this is kind of nasty. The guy's the best-selling book on eBay. It's not really relevant to our stream though, right? I mean, I didn't check the list today. Okay, so a takes b. What am I supposed to do here? Ooh, this looks ugly. This looks ugly. I don't like it. Nice sob. Perfect for white. Now my guy's hanging. This is a horrible position. I'm in a dreadful situation here. This is horrible for black. He's 1620. He's 1800 in rapid though. That's pretty credible. Seems stronger in the longer time controls. Black's position is really, really dubious though. What am I supposed to do here? I'm just gonna lose on time. This looks awful. I'm just lost. Alright, dude. So I'm basically lost. Now I'm not lost. Now we can blockade and like breathe a sigh of relief. But if he takes back with the D pawn there, I mean, I'm probably lost. Not that this is that easy, but defensible for black. Again, I'm going to lose on time to the other Hungarian I played. He's 1900 classical, 1800 rapid, but in blitz and bullet he's quite lower rated. So not a fast player, yet he's faster than me. Man, everybody's the same. They're all faster than me. Okay, what am I doing now? G5, G4, something crazy like that? How is he 1600 in bullet? And he's faster than me. This position is getting better, but I'm still worse. He should have really gone for it with D takes C. I mean, that was the crushing continuation. Now white's only slightly better. I don't know what I'm doing. Close to toast again. Really well played by white. Now my queen is like trapped. Whoops. I mean, this is ridiculous. He's 1600. He's like crushing me. Man. I just almost committed suicide. It looks like. Yeah, I'm dead. I'm lost here. Losing the exchange at the very least. I don't like having lost positions, you know, I've got to be honest with you guys. It's getting a little too regular here today. Getting to be too regular of an occurrence in today's stream. Having like a lost position every game is starting to get on my nerves. Okay, what's going on? I'm just lost again. How is he 1600? He played this amazing game here. Just totally crushed. And that's a strong. That's one strong 1600, no doubt, dude. I don't know if you know him, man, but I mean, he's ridiculously strong. If it was like FIDE rating or something, I could see. But like, you know, lichess 1600, that's pretty insane, dude. I'm totally toast here. I should have been lost already. Obviously. I mean, this guy played master level the whole game. If I just draw, it would be a miracle. Just keeps on coming. It's like the Energizer Bunny. No, I mean, this guy's too strong to be 1600. Is this the same guy that I played in other games? You wouldn't let your friend play, would you? Traded this. Now I'm lost. He could have sacked the exchange there with rook takes c6 for a forced win. Now it's a draw. I mean, he missed rook takes c6 check. He was playing so fast. Now we could be here all day. I mean, dude, this player played like he was like 2100 FIDE or something. This was a massive game. The only mistake he made the entire game was basically this exchanging, this not taking back on b5 with the right pawn. Here, the only move I can possibly criticize him for here is this recapture on the next move. Like, White's game was so strong, it's just insane, dude. If you play d takes c, you're winning in this position. After b takes c, you're only slightly better. It's a big difference. You know, this is just totally crushing. And then I was just lost at the end. Like, even at the end, I was lost. I mean, at the end, I was just completely lost because I played bishop c6. Here, he misses a winning king and pawn endgame after this. It's only move, but it wins by force. So he's the same guy. He's erratic, man. This was like I know, a great game by White. I mean, you just should see rook takes c6. I mean, that's over. So deserve to win there. The Hungarian's knocking me out. I've lost 3 games, no 2 games today, but it should have lost 3. That was a really nice performance by White in a position that I found to be very, very unpleasant. Yeah, but not like a 1600. Erratic is, that was a thorough game. I mean, you squashed me. So let's play something crazy here for fun. Can we mess with Dmitry? He played knight f3. He didn't care. Wow. We confused him with the b5. The Soltigo variation. Is this some sort of theory, by the way? Is this a line? Can he do this? Sacrificing a pawn? It actually looks kind of interesting. Great game for him, but not for me, you know. It was awful. I hated the position from the point where he played c5. I try not to get into that kind of structure. I just don't find it very fun. So this is interesting here. White just instantly played knight f3, a move I've never seen before. Of course, I've probably played this like only in blitz maybe 10 times in my life, but nevertheless, he just dropped a piece or sacrificed a piece. That looks a little over the top there. Panicking. Panic mode. We're up a piece now. I mean, I like that your pieces are active, but you're down a whole piece. That doesn't seem like enough compensation to me. I've been known to be wrong, but I think in this case, yeah, we're up a piece for nothing. Almost nothing. So that game was a really awkward position. I was not outplayed once but twice. You know, I had a lost position, then I had an okay position, then I messed it up again. That's pretty bad. Like, you get a chance to save yourself, basically. I mean, from a lost position like I did there in the last game, and then I get lost again. I mean, that's pretty embarrassing. That's very bad. That shouldn't happen. Like, you get a chance to get away, you get away. You know, you don't give them a second chance to beat you. And once I blockaded with knight c6, the problem was he was playing fast too. It wasn't just a matter of, like, you know, it wasn't just a matter of White having a strong position. He also had an advantage on time. So once I got a decent position with knight c6 blockading last game, I looked at the clock and I was also significantly behind on time. So started to make more mistakes. No blunders. This 5+3, I don't know, man. I'm glad these aren't rated games today. Dimitri went a little crazy. So bishop a6, I mean, trading this off should be a good thing. He said no. But then we have another one where that came from. So we're winning. You know, I'm not going to mess this up, like a piece up for nothing. Knight c3 was... yeah, I mean, knight c3 is a good move, but I wanted to just... the principal development. Not moving the knight to c3 again, but everything's good. This is strong. Knight c3 was strong as well. I'd like to get some sort of tricky mate or something. Although here he could probably try to take it and then play knight a4. Still, it's lost for white. He just dropped his queen. All right. So we had some sloppy games today by both sides. That's what happens in Blitz. I mean, I've got to admit that most of my streams are longer, like 5+3. Sorry, longer than 5+3. So the 7+3 games seem like they have a higher standard of game, and I'm just kind of seeing both sides make a lot of mistakes here in the faster time control. But I know how I play, and my standard is a little bit below the average today, just because of the time. Ironically, when I stream in Hungary, which I'll be going back to at the end of the month, I do a lot of 10 a.m. streams, and I do, you know, play at this time. But I guess for whatever reason, I'm not used to doing that lately. Most of my schedule is like 4:30 streams. I just pre-moved. It was a good one. I'm just playing everybody, man. We're not just picking people. You know, I'm good. If you have 100 games, but you see, you have just 11, so I'm not going to play that. I'm just going to play everybody who has 100 games of Blitz or more. And it's a casual challenge. But not a rookie, as just, it's a new account, and we don't play new accounts. This next guy, USAG, has games. Tamale has games. Grambit has games. Not games. Full bladder. Nice image there. Alright, he has games. And this guy challenged me to a correspondence game. This is kind of a boring position. Alright. He traded the bishop on g4 for f3. It's okay. Unprovoked exchange. Should give away a small advantage, but it's nothing like dramatic. I have bishops, but I have a closed position, so it's obviously hard to use these bishops to my advantage. Here, move order. Move order might be interesting. Queen b3, queen b6, and I hate trading those queens. There's d3, d takes c, which just kills the whole position. There's b3, d takes c, b takes c, queen d4, which amounts to me like sacrificing a pawn. That's kind of weird. And then there's like queen b3, queen b6, d3. I guess default, I mean, queen c2, e5 reminds me of a game that Ubatis, one of our regulars, had. Guess we can do that. Queen c2. Allowing e5, though, it gives black some chances in the center. But we do have the bishops. And if he opens the position with e5, he's going to have to be responsible for any kind of long-term weaknesses he makes on the white squares. So his safest bet is to keep the pawns where they are, you know, in that formation. Let's say blotting out my bishop on f3. If he chooses to advance with e5 at some point, it's going to involve a certain amount of risk. Although he's going to gain space, he's going to essentially enhance the power of my bishop on g2 in the long run. So it's a double-edged decision. Ubatis is actually online, I noticed, so he might like this game. I don't know if he's in the stream. Knight c3, I think, traps knight. Traps queen? Is that what you're trying to say? Can I do some kind of queen trap? Was that what you're looking at? In that other variation I mentioned? So b3 or d3, what we'd prefer to play here. b3, e5, bishop b2. Or d3 first. Random question: would it be allowed to listen to music? We had this question just the other day. In the old days, there was no problem. In fact, I did that myself, even in Budapest, maybe. But since the last 10 years, they're cracking down. I think that because of people cheating with engines and stuff, most tournaments are gonna not allow you to, you can use like whatever what's it called, iPads or whatever you listen to your music on, or your iPhone. I mean, there's no electronic devices for the most part. We could just say that. Like, I had a message from a tournament here in the United States. They were trying to get people to join, and it just said like policy for any kind of electronic devices basically non-existent. So you cannot have electronic devices at the board in many tournaments. If it's some like really small really small local tournament, like, you might get away with it, but I think your opponent would likely complain. So practically not. There was a time when it was widespread, let's say. You could definitely do it, and I did. But actually, I remember the last time I remember was when the Vietnamese Grandmaster Nguyen Ngoc Truongson was playing regularly in Budapest in the first Saturday GM tournaments. I played many times with him, and he actually used to listen to his MP3 player, or whatever it was at that time. I would say like circa 2006, 2007. So basically like a little over 10 years ago. You probably still see, in this case, even like a Grandmaster strength player actually listening to music at the board. But I can remember even back then, they at some point wouldn't let him do it anymore. So no. But I told a funny story about how this was relevant for me in one game. My opponent was listening to music. This was 2006, again around the same time when they stopped allowing it, and this was in the U.S. Open. And I very quietly, like, wasn't thinking about it. I very quietly, like, touched one of my pieces and said Jadoob. And if I moved this piece, it would be like a massive blunder, like probably losing a piece or basically losing the game. And I wasn't really thinking about it, but he was listening to his headset, so he didn't hear me say Jadoob, and he basically said, like, you have to move it. I was like, what are you talking about? I just said Jadoob. You just didn't hear me because you're listening to your headset. But he insisted, and it was like, I lose the game, if he makes me make this move. So he was trying to get me to have to make the move, and the arbiter came, and I don't know what would have happened. I mean, there was no witness, so probably, actually, probably, like, I don't know, it would have been my word against his. But basically, the arbiter ruled in my favor because he was listening to his headset. And it was just like, well, I said, you couldn't hear me anyway. So the arbiter was like, yeah, I mean, no way I can rule in his favor. So luckily, I didn't have to make this, like, losing move. That was never my intention. Yeah, like, if you go to a really informal tournament, possibly you could still get away with it, but certainly not like in a FIDE rated tournament. Anybody's gonna let you, like, listen to music at the board anymore. They should have, like, piped in headsets, just like Spotify playlist at every board, and you can, like, listen to whatever you want. And that's the idea. That would work best. Maybe someday. That'd be a cool tournament, right? Everybody has music at the board if you want to or not. Kind of a cool idea. Is 1400 good for 11 years old? I think that 1400 USCF is good for anybody. I mean, that's a credible chess player. But yeah, I think it's good. For an adult, it's good. It's a good start. My first rating was 1275, and I was about the same age. So, if I can reach IM with 1275, if I can reach IM with 1275 at age 11, you can reach Grandmaster. Don't listen to anybody if they tell you you can't. So, a lot of people said I was even too old to become an IM, because I was like in college and I was only maybe 2,300 by that point. So I was no child prodigy. I didn't start playing my first tournament, as I said, till I was about 11. Queen d2. You know, I'm probably lying. I was a little older than that. Okay, I learned how to play when I was about 11. I probably didn't play in my first tournament till I was 12 and a half, 13. Does that make sense? Yeah, I probably didn't play my first tournament till I was about 13, which is really late by today's standards. But I learned how to play seriously. Constantly started training and playing a lot. You know, training as in like playing with my friend really competitively, many games, almost every day. Learning, studying books and stuff when I was about 11. Queen g5 is win, said Rigatoni Cappuccino. I looked at it, you know. Yeah, it was a win. I missed it. It's funny, I saw it last move. Wait. Queen here, 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 here. No, it's not win. He has queen takes b2. Duh. But bishop takes g7 is probably not a bad move. I'm just not quite that alert today. Queen g5, no. But this move... I did have this, you know, but even that's not clear because of, like, knight takes f2. Not clear. Yeah, I thought about queen g5, then I realized my bishop was hanging on b2. Yeah, so now we just have really good structure. His knights look kind of dubious. Yeah, rook b1. I thought about that last move. I'm just a little bit not that sharp this morning. Got to get any tips to get to 2000? Well, all I know is that it's a lot easier than it was when I was a kid. There's so much more information available, and the internet exists for the general public to use, which doesn't hurt. Whoops. So tips for how to get to 2000 for 1400. I mean, that's a long journey. Basically, knight takes g3 is on. So I have to play e3. Okay. You see, if I was sharp, I would play this move like instantaneously. I think. And I'm gonna lose on time again. He's 1200. All right. I don't know. I guess the one coffee wasn't enough. That's all I can say about today. It was Dunkin' Donuts' fault. I never drink Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I mean, I make my own coffee. There's no mate, but I should think about it. But I'm going to blame Dunkin' Donuts for their crappy coffee, basically. And that's the reason why I'm playing so bad today. If you're not from the United States, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. Man, he's a tough 1200, but we got mate. That was close, though. I mean, he was like right coming for me, and the time was actually having an off day is enough. World Loser, what's up? Long time no see. We'll be moving back to Europe in a couple weeks, so hopefully you can hang out on our stream once in a while. I'm just taking the challenges in order. So USAG, if you do have 100 games. What time is it? We got plenty of time left. 30 minutes. 30 minutes left. So that's time for at least 3 more games after this. Life's too short for bad coffee, Mr. Coffee. Yeah, we never learned why Mr. Coffee is Mr. Coffee, actually. We never questioned the obvious. Any story behind the name, Mr. Coffee? You just like looked at your kitchen counter when you made the name. You're like, oh, I'm going to call myself Mr. Coffee. I I just don't think this coffee had very much caffeine in it or something. I think I was shortchanged in the caffeine, the caffeination of my coffee today. That's my excuse. I am addicted to caffeine. Bishop f4 is a good line. It's very solid though. It's not like super aggressive. If you're afraid of the Grunfeld and you want a solid game, and bishop f4 is pretty good. All right. I thought about playing bishop f4. I've never actually played it myself, but I would consider it. The caffeine pills, that sounds kind of scary. I'm not into energy drinks, but I have a funny story about that. In my Hungarian team championship team, there's this guy who's he's an IM, but he's like 80, and he's a doctor. Dr. Liptai, and apparently like he's really active. He has like a very young wife, and like he has a kid who's young. He's like 80 years old, and he like drinks like Red Bull. I just thought it's kind of funny for a guy who's like a 80-year-old man to be drinking Red Bulls before his tournament games. He's 2300 FIDE and he's 80 years old. It's pretty insane. I mean, I don't think his like lifetime rating was probably much above low 2400s. So if you think about it, let's give his lifetime rating like 2450 maximum. He's basically only lost like 150 points off his like all-time high, that's pretty insane. So here I guess knight takes d5, queen takes d5, bishop takes c3 check, knight to d2. Is this just, what am I missing here? Knight takes d5, queen takes d5, bishop takes c3 check, knight d2, rook d8. There's something wrong with this equation. It's like bishop c7 at the end? Is that the secret move? Yeah, I really don't know. Liptai Laszlo? I think it's Laszlo. Very rare Hungarian name. Knight takes d5. But I'm amazed, I mean, to be 80 and be alive at all, let alone like playing 2300 FIDE level chess and drinking Red Bulls. Yeah, that's pretty cool, dude. And he looks like he's living life. I mean, not like, just barely hanging on. No, I meant Laszlo. I was just joking. Of course it's common. I'm just kidding. For the non-Hungarians out there, everybody knows that Laszlo is like a very common name. But I never met an 80-year-old dude who can drink Red Bulls. Even like top grandmasters, when they reach 80, are rarely playing anymore. Of course, the guy makes a lot of quick draws and stuff like that. He doesn't seem like he wants really long games. He's 81 and 2299. It's insane, I know. So bishop c4. What's the deal though with knight takes d5? Sorry, queen takes d5, bishop takes c3 check, b takes c, queen takes c3 check. I mean, that looks bad for white. So it's like, is the line queen takes d5, bishop takes c3 check, knight d2, rook d8, and then white needs a move. Is there some sort of bishop c7? There I would have bishop takes d2 check. So that doesn't really make sense, does it? We'll check after the game, but I mean, this is not good for white. He's obviously, yeah, he's obviously toast here. If he was intending on playing queen d2 in response to knight takes c3, I'm going to have rook d8 at the end again. It should still be strong. I mean, this is a trick in many positions, because the knight can be pinned to the queen on a5. There was a funny game where Andras Shadorian had something like that happen. Another Hungarian player, but the dude had like queen c2. It was weird. There was some sort of secret move that queen c2, queen a4, or some trick like that. There was a queen on c2, I guess. It was a bishop on d2, not a queen. That was it. Anyway, I'm just talking about random stuff now. I'm getting confused. All right, what's happening here? I never played the Grunfeld. Salvador Alonso, an old friend of mine, is the first game there. So white has already gone wrong. Okay, so the best defense is bishop e5, and you're already worse. So where did white go wrong here? Yeah, he played CD right away. I didn't realize it's that bad. So it's that bad. You have to play some sort of defensive move here with white. All right. Tamale is up next. We got time for 3 more games, guys. Three last games for today. Sorry, I can't get to everybody. But I should start drinking Red Bulls if I want to live till 80, I guess. That's the secret. Because this coffee is not doing it for me. I'm playing worse. And I still feel like I'm going to fall asleep any minute. Alright, maybe it's just too hot and I didn't sleep enough last night. I need to think of some new excuses. C4. We're a little bit better than we were in the beginning, but we still lost a couple games today. Not happy, though. Okay, d5 is fine. That's a good move. Good move. What's the best defense? Soltigo said he might be here later, but I think he's got company. So he may be here quietly. But anyway, guys, we'll be back on Sunday with simul stream. I'll be playing 25 players in long simul game that lasts like over 3 hours. 40-40 time control with an extra 40 minutes for me. The games typically start at 4:30 p.m. my time and last till about 7:15. 3 hours, 3 1/4. Okay, this is a bad move. Basically, I put pressure on his center, and he just neglected to do anything about it. So I would assume I should just go crazy here with e4. It's a kind of good Grunfeld. Rigatoni Cappuccino, thanks for subscribing. This move would be really good if he could get an e5, but if he doesn't get an e5, then the move is going to look actually bad. And that's something that I say to people on a regular basis. When it comes to playing the opening correctly, bad moves become good moves if they go unpunished. So in other words, like, you know, this rook could be a very good move if I let him achieve e5. But if he doesn't achieve e5, this is going to look like a mistake. He's not really threatening e5. Perhaps if he had bishop g4, then suddenly there would be a problem here. So we play h3. We're stopping bishop g4. We're stopping e5. And we're stopping him from freeing himself. You know, and that's the key. Still, it looks like he could play knight c6. So I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking extreme moves here even. Knight c6, e5. Just to stop him. Man, there's a bird outside and it's driving me nuts. You guys must hear that. It's parked outside my house, and it's just got a really weird sound. So d5, knight e5, knight takes e5, bishop takes e5, knight c3. Black kind of frees himself. Bishop e3 is knight c4. But thanks for subscribing, Rigatoni. I want to keep that rook contained on... If I can keep it contained on e8, but how? You know, how do I keep this contained? Extreme e5, weakening my white squares. Bishop e3, knight c4, unfortunately. This move is going to give him justification against bishop e3, so... The e5 looks weird. Bishop e3 looks weird. I guess I could play bishop e3 and let him take it. It's interesting. Maybe that's the way to go here. If knight takes b2, we trap a piece. So we try something crazy. Bishop e3, knight c4, e5, knight takes e3, f takes e3. It's reminded me of our first game today. But I was looking at bishop e3, knight c4, e5, knight takes b2. Yeah, that looks good for us. Queen b3, we trap the knight. Bishop e3, let's try it. We're trying to be a little bit creative here. Of course, you could still go Mamedyarov style. I don't think f5 is safe, especially with the rook on e8. You know, there's less protection of f7. He's going to get wrecked with like knight g5 and queen b3 check. Black has to be very careful about moving the f-pawn here. So, I'm basically inviting him to play knight c4 at his own risk. Alright. I need a glass of water. Where did it go? It's down here. Alright, found my water. It was lurking. He plays e5 anyway. Alright, this is not what I expected. But he is justifying his rook move, you know, to some extent. So if I take on e5, I don't think I have anything. Take an e5, knight takes e5. So I have to play d5. Now we might have something. His rook is misplaced here. He'll have to go back to f8 and try to enforce f5. The main thing is that he can't play knight d4 without just dropping a pawn. So he has to play a passive move. Knight e7, congesting his position, or knight b8, going back. This is not enough. I thought critical was knight c4 last move. You know, it's kind of hyper modern, but we got to try it. You got to try it. There, I was going to actually play this. The funny move e5. Knight takes e3, f takes e3. I think that black might still be okay there, though. You can check after the game. So back to b8. Knight c3 probably going to be necessary here. I mean, you could look at this. We can also look at a4. But Vinnik. a4, any move, a5. Except for a5, obviously. a4, a5. Let's go for it. Let's first play knight c3. Alright, I'm going to be principled. I was going to play a4, then a little voice inside my head said, develop your pieces first. Alright. We'll develop our pieces, then we're thinking about a4 for the next move. And there's a sharp move. f5. Double-edged. Very, very double-edged. So knight g5. Queen b3 also looks dangerous. I mean, this looks super dangerous. We got d6. And then knight g5 is next. If he has anything crazy, like, what's he gonna do? This is a huge, huge position. I mean, maybe d6 check isn't that big of a threat. He can play bishop e6 to answer that. But in combination with knight g5, we have very serious threats. If something like f takes e, I mean, I could play knight g5. Just black's in deadly trouble. Guys, 2 last games after this. Drew Plays Chess. Thanks for watching. So Gambit in full bladder. World Loser, hopefully you can come back. Join the stream more often. Now what? Queen d6, sensible move. But I have knight b5. That's probably lights out. Lights out. Yeah. He's not going to survive this, I don't think. This is just too much. Instructive, though, this game, at least. Because this is pretty common. The whole theme of black, you know, trying to play f5, but the king side being kind of weak. And one mistake, really, rook e8, and he's got a bad position. So, guys, next stream, Simul. Please support the stream with bit donations if you can afford it. No donations today, but that's cool. Knight g5 now. Knight takes c7. There's also d6 check. The problem is d6 check, bishop e6. Pawn takes c7. He moves his queen. Then I make a new queen. And his rook's protected. There's also knight g5. Knight g5 is really nasty. Ooh. This has got to be good. Let's just keep the tension. We're not going to cash in yet. Play for mate. d6 is just cashing in too early. There was also knight takes c7 there, but again, probably similar mistake in that you're cashing in too early. This is brutal because the rook's not on f8. If it were on f8, he'd still be in trouble, but less likely to get mated. Yeah, as Rigatoni said, the knight takes c7 is possible, but I'm trying to keep all my options open. He just committed hiri-kiri here, so it doesn't matter. No, he doesn't get mated, at least directly. He basically lost everything, though. He lost the house. Okay, Gambit. And the last game will be against Full Bladder, I guess. I could win the queen. Well, he has bishop e6 counterattack. Like knight takes c7, queen takes c7, e6 to discover, check, bishop e6. Now he's attacking my queen. So I didn't think I would win a full queen. I don't know. I didn't calculate exactly what the ramifications were there. I'm playing the same repertoire kind of every game because it's a fast time control. If it was a longer game, I'd probably mix it up more. Exactly, Rigatoni. So that's what Larry Christensen said. If you see a good move, look for a better one. I'm sure he wasn't the first. Saltigo, you made it. We have our last 2 games of the stream today. But thanks for being here. Bishop g4 right away. Alright, I'm going to strike with c4. I usually like to wait for this bishop to come out before I hit them with c4. Because at the end of the day, this Fianchetto bishop will be hitting that like loose pawn on b7 in some lines. Okay, c6 is a good move. And this is standard theory, basically. I don't really believe that white has an advantage in this position. I believe that it's equal. Slightly unorthodox order of moves here. Usually e6 is played first, making me want to play c takes d. But it's still not bad for black. I don't know that I have another really good move here, to be honest. Alright. Yeah, this isn't too much for white. We got to look into that. This particular order of moves. I don't know what choices I have. I mean, there's a really strange variation in that if I try to do queen b3, he might have like knight c5 there. I feel like I've seen this somewhere recently. Maybe with move 11, one of our regulars. When you come back in Europe, yeah, you'll be here more often. Great. I know most of my streams are late. That's why I try to do this one. But unfortunately, this one, I'm just taking all the challenges in a row. Like, I had to kind of mix that in. So this is a big mistake, I think. Knight takes d5. This is an instructive mistake. It's kind of like strategic and long term. You must take back with the c pawn. And I also like bishop takes f3 here for black, just keeping it simple. Bishop takes f3, and then c takes d5. White has some kind of Kramnik like 0.1 type of advantage. I don't think that it's very scary for black though. Of course, if you want to win, it's a different story, but probably should be playing a different system if you want a super complicated game. Alright. What do we do now? I'll just develop. He can play e5 for whatever that's worth. I would start to think about something like h3 and maybe trying to corral his bishop, but that's easier said than done. e5, h3, bishop h5, or even e5, h3, bishop e6. It's a matter of style. You can play e5 or e6 here. Soltico, how's it going? We'll see you for the subscriber stream. Excuse me. See you for the simul on Sunday. Man, I just can't wake up today. I think in Hungary I'll be going back to the morning streams because why? That's what works best for me. E6, not only morning streams though. I do have both. We do some morning streams, some afternoon streams from European time. The afternoon streams are a little easier for the Americans, North American people to check out. Obviously, the evening streams. You need to change your sleep schedule to start making the 4 a.m. streams. When don't destroy yourself, Soltigo, for my sake. Maybe you can do it gradually. Yeah, just whatever you can handle, man. I appreciate any help. So, we had a kind of tough day today in this 5+3. I'm trying to get my rating back up. It's gone down to in the 2400s for a while now. I'd like to get back over 2500 in Blitz so that it's not you know, so I'm still on like the list of top players when I log on. I don't know, I feel kind of like a loser when I'm not. Alright, we're gonna try to play like b4. This so-called minority attack on the queen side is a standard plan for the structure. b4, b5 would be the idea, essentially. But I think I need more development. Question is, where do we go? Queen c2, rook b1, rook c1, something like that. Good move. a5, very logical. Very, very logical. You know, we could change the structure at some point with e4. I mean, we definitely have to consider this possibility. But it is rather anti-positional, you might say. I'm going to play h3. Just to create the possibility of some sort of trapping his bishop for the knight at some point. But it's a useful move. I don't think this is a significant weakness. It could conceivably be a weakening of my king side. But with the fianchetto structure, yeah, I think this is a mistake here. It's not a terrible move. It's playable, but I would prefer to probably keep the bishops on. Because the position is semi-open, rather than like the symmetrical type of structure. Because you've given up your strong point on d5, my bishop has a little bit of mobility. You know, it's starting to become kind of a strong piece. And you have myself a big Midwestern omelet. Oh man, stop, dude. Just stop. You just reminded me that I didn't eat too much today. And it's like lunchtime. Alright? Now what am I going to do? I'm going to have to go get lunch. I'm supposed to go to the beach, guys. Can't go to the beach on an empty stomach. You grew up as a fisherman, wow. Now that's cool. I didn't know that. Okay. Very debatable move now. b5, weakening himself along my half-open file here. We could say, I think, that this is like a concrete mistake. Where's Arsenal fan? He had a recent game where a sort of similar thing happened. He submitted for our Thursday subscriber stream. It was like b4, knight a4, and he outplayed the guy brilliantly in the structure that had arisen there after b4. I mean, this is very rope-a-dope, the way that I play chess. It's not a classical style. I'm playing extremely hyper-modern chess here. For those of you who don't, know or realize, I'm not playing classically. I'm giving... Look at this. I mean, I literally haven't crossed my third rank here, But I really have always played kind of hyper-modern chess. It's just the name of the guy. Yeah, knight takes d5. We grab the 2 rooks for the queen here. I like it in this position. You know, I may have just screwed that up. This was kind of an impulsive move by me. Not kind of, like it was, okay? There was this... Knight takes d5. Bishop takes d5, pawn takes d5, queen takes check. I think I just had a fantasy here. It's like a fantasy variation. Yeah, in a way I made a very serious error. There was no reason to do that. On the other hand, there is an interesting shot. No, that wouldn't work either. Like, bishop takes d5 wouldn't matter. New fan of chess, what are the main ideas? Central to hypermodern variations? Well, I mean, hypermodern simply means that we're not occupying the center with pawns in a classical way. Rather, we're like encouraging the opponent to take the center and then trying to kind of get them to overextend themselves or blow up their center, let's say. We have some interesting possibilities here, though. What is going on? I'm not in the current position. What is wrong with me? All right. This is the last game for today, thankfully, because it needs to be. I'm definitely starting to space out. I up-screwed this position, though. This was a seriously bad idea to play knight takes d5. By transitioning this pawn structure to something completely different, I mean, I basically messed myself up. I'm also very slow to think things out today. e4. a4 is interesting. Alright, whatever. Long think, wrong think. That's what this guy told me. This guy that I have a good score against. But anyway. Gambit. Last game for today. Bob, I already lost to a 1600 today. Was it a 1600? Maybe not. I didn't actually lose that game, but I was close. Ratings mean nothing, Bob. No, hold on a second here. Gambit's playing a little too fast. And there's a tendency to do that when you get like, oh my god, I might be winning. You know? He's like, oh crap. That pawn is lucky that I can pick it off. And the pawn isn't lucky, I'm lucky. Super, super sleepy though. Gotta wake up. Groggy all morning. Just making tons of excuses about my play. We're up a pawn now. Far from easy to win, but I mean I should be winning. Now here he needs to get out of this pin. He just didn't do it. But it's too late. Now it's over. So the center triumphant. Okay, let's not celebrate before it's really over. I wouldn't be the first person to do that. You know, even c6 is a little risky because I'm getting that pawn pushed up where my other pawns can't really support it. Probably not a great idea. Alright, this is like a blunder, but we'll take it. Play knight c4 now. I just almost was going to lose on time again, so I shouldn't play d4, but I'm like, alright, whatever, I have to make a move. Yeah, final position. Final position here. This is the last game for today, guys. I think I've had it for today. Next stream will be Sunday. It'll be no, I said I was going to play Full Bladder. Alright. I said I was going to play him. I'm sorry. I make a promise, I'll keep it. Pass Pawn resubscribe. Thanks so much. So Full Bladder is here. If he promises to change his name to something more acceptable, Take a couple weeks off. If he's not here, then that's it for today. He was just... I promised him. No, I just need more caffeine. I don't know. I just can't wake up. Alright. Quick game. Last one for today. The second last one for today. Does e4 work there? I didn't like e4. He just like takes and plays his knight to c4. Like he could have in the final position. Alright, hedgehog. Hedgehog. Haven't played much lately. I play different stuff. I play bishop takes f3 there sometimes. I have the day off tomorrow, which I need. I've been working hard. Yeah, here, a6, I guess, I most commonly have played in my career. It's a little early, but nothing wrong with a6. I think Shabalov played b3 against me, and we had a draw where I like vacuumed the pieces off the board. It's a good strategy against tactical players. If you could just like trade everything off and reach a drawn ending with black, that's not bad. He's the only guy who did that. This e3 is actually a very strong setup. I don't know anything about this player, but he's handling the opening very well. This might almost be a Reti instead of a hedgehog now. Reti recard. So I'm not going to play passively with d6. I think we have to play more actively with d5 now. Transferring to a different opening. I also had a game with Neil MacDonald. He's an English grandmaster. Now that I think about it, where he may have played the same setup. I actually sacked a pawn with b5. This is popping back in my head. It's a game from like 10, 12 years ago. It had to be like 12 years ago. But now that I recall it, it's possible I like did b5 like even in this position. Very, very possible. Similar to the Queen's Indian. Yeah, you can play the Queen's Indian without c5, of course. You don't have to play c5. I've done that sometimes if I want to be even more solid. Yeah, White's trying to play a Reti with d3. Don't know anything about our opponent. Knight d7 is a little passive. It would be more active to go here. I'm not really sure. The queen is always a problem in these Reti Catalan type positions. Where's my queen gonna go? To like b8 maybe? I mean, I don't have a good place really to put it. Queen d2. More typically the queen goes to e2. I don't know if there's anything I can do to really exploit it. We're going out on the limb here with rook a7. It's a weird move, but this is the last game of the day. I've seen Tony Miles lose like this years ago in a famous game where he was white. Did like rook. It's not my invention, this idea. It's actually a Reti, a standard Reti concept. Maybe b5 now, starting to look good. Kind of like it. Just roll in on the queen side. He could take on d5 though. It's probably okay for white. Question is, how do I recapture? Do I take with the pawn? I mean, that's more ambitious. But it leaves me kind of bottled up in a strange way with my rook on a7. Actually, yeah. The Michał Szuba likes the queen a8. Yeah, I mean, Szuba I like a lot. I like his books on both the hedgehog and dynamic chess strategy. So, but he does give the game where Miles lost with rook a2. I mean, that's actually from the Shuba book, if I'm not mistaken. An example of such a situation, you know. This is a little weird. Just giving my rook some extra space. I'm not really committing to anything. I want to keep the tension. I actually wanted to play a5, maybe. But I recognize that passed pawn. I don't know if you realized or known that I mentioned Shuba quite a lot in my stream. I guess it's Suba. I don't know. You know, some people call him Suba. Hungarians pronounce it Shuba. I guess it might even be a Hungarian name, even though he's Romanian. I don't know what it is. I'm not even sure how it's technically supposed to be pronounced. But it sounds cool either way. Suba or Shuba. So e takes d5, bishop takes d5. These are even knight takes d5. So how do you decide how to recapture here? Really, I guess it depends on how aggressive you want to be. Bishop takes is really more my style. I think I'm going to go with that. Because that's a kingside defender of sorts. If I take with the pawn, I mean, he keeps his good kingside defender and he plays knight f4. Pawn takes is the most complicated. Guys, this is the last game. I'm leaving after this. I will see you on Sunday. Thanks to Soltigo for joining us. Thanks everybody for watching, and please support the stream if you can afford it with a PayPal donation. Now we're screwed again. But I mean, this is a big price he has to pay for this move. You know, I mean, okay, my rook is embarrassed and I have some technical problems, but at the same time, I mean, you know, he's making himself very, very awkward along the d file here. So it's a two-way street. Now, there was this Russian international master who I played back in 1990 or 89, where the dude just crushed me. I was white, and I did this, and he was like, blunk, 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 and he just killed my d4 square. I'll never forget that. I learned a very important lesson about this type of structure. But first, let's get the rook to the d8, and the rook on a7 I would rather have on c8 right now. So if you guys can find a way for me to magically make that happen. Maybe it was better to play bishop c6 instead of bishop b7, but I was concerned he would break with d4. Now he's going with queen a1. We're going to see him trying to do the same basic thing that I did. Maybe white is equalized here. Now I'm basically pressuring a dead diagonal. I feel like I lost the battle here. Queen a1. Now my rook is stupid. We'll put it back. He breaks the d4. Very well. Okay, so dynamic position. The knight on e1 for white is a bit awkward. But we've got to be careful. Don't really have anything. Maybe knight b6, strange as that might seem. Support c4. Because if I take, it's just symmetry. I mean, I don't really like that. White has played this really freaking well. It's like 1600. Everybody's 1600 and they're playing like good. I don't know what to do. Just protect my g7 pawn. Let you decide what you want to do. Keep the tension. Knight d3. Looks like it's equal now. I lost my advantage. I was definitely better at one point. A little bit better. Knight c2. What I didn't want is like absolute symmetry. I mean, that's exactly what I'm disturbed by here. And I don't see how I'm avoiding it. Just got no real idea. I have no clue. I'm disgusted with myself today. Just haven't played very well. We'll try to make the rook work. Bishop f8 was to protect g7, obviously. Yeah, but increment, man. I mean, this is not a standard time control where it's sudden death. One thing you can't do is pretend that increment time controls are sudden death. It's just not the same thing. I learned that lesson long ago. I lost a lot of rating points trying to flag people in increment situations. This guy's supposed to be 1600, but he's not really playing like he's a true 1600. He seems pretty good. It's a new account. Did he finally make a mistake? He actually lost a pawn. Man, that was tough. We managed to win a pawn. It was like going to the dentist and pulling teeth. Now a second pawn with bishop takes there allows bishop takes g7. But I'm left with two very powerful connected passed pawns. I mean, I'll take it. Bishop g7 was your only move. Now he's just lost. Really credible game by white. Not incredible, but credible. Until the very last moment when he hung the pawns, I had basically nothing. So I don't think you should trade pieces here, objectively. You shouldn't really trade pieces when you're down pawns in a situation like this. So in this, I'll never flag him. He'll never lose on time. It would have been a huge mistake to even think about it. Alright guys, we're out of here. So tough game. Mr. Coffee, welcome back. We'll see you guys on Sunday. It'll be 40 plus 40, 25 boards simul here on lichess on Sunday, 4:30 EDT in the afternoon. That's it. Alright guys, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. Please support the stream. Don't forget my YouTube channel, Video Chess Training on YouTube. And I'm out of here. Thanks Soltigo, thanks everybody for watching and playing. Bye. Bye. And Panda was sleeping today, just so you guys know. Today's his day to sleep in late. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.